Mm-hmm.
Welcome everybody. Episode 2, Alex versus Anthony podcast. I got a couple people with me today. You're gonna see one and you're gonna hear another. So if you could just introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Deshanne.
Hey, Scott, go ahead and tell them you here, man.
Yeah, we're going. Well, you just said it. My name is Scott.
Hey, these are two friends of mine. We just gonna indulge in a topic today called cheating. You know, a lot of people have been either cheated on or have cheated. And a lot of people want to know just why. How come? What caused you to do it? Is there coming back from cheating? Can a relationship survive with cheating? Is it over after cheating? You know? So we're going to try to divulge into these people's lives for a little bit and just answer all these questions for you guys. As you know, in episode 1, I kind of spoke about my infidelities and just told a couple of stories of why I chose to cheat. And I just want to hear somebody else's perspective. And I just want to hear what these two individuals consider cheating being. You know? Mm-hmm. Scott, we just gonna let the lady go first. What you think cheating is? What is cheating?
For me, I feel like cheating is when I'm a woman, so I'm straight, so I like men. So when another man indulges in sexual,
she had to let the world know.
Because sometimes
she like men.
Sometimes people get confused and they want specific details on what it is you like or how it is you operate. So I like men, but I feel like when my partner decides that he wants to have sexual activity with another female or entertain another female by texting, taking them out on dates, especially the sexual activity part, and then trying to pay their bills too so they could be quiet. So
you had yourself somebody that was paying bills?
Nah.
They was doing a lot.
That's a little different, but okay.
It happens. It happens. I've heard stories in that part, but yeah.
Okay, so pretty much you think that cheating is a lot more than just the sexual part?
Yes.
Okay. Scott, talk to me. What you think?
I mean, she's not wrong. I mean, most men would say cheating is all about the physical. Me personally, when I cheated, it was mostly not necessarily in the physical, but just in terms of entertaining the bullshit. You know what I mean? So I didn't necessarily need to go out and fuck somebody else. You know, it was just somebody just to waste time with. Just chat, talk bullshit with, key with. That was just really what it was for the most part. And I understand when you do that, sometimes it can lead to other things. That's why people don't rather you not do it.
Got it.
So,
I completely agree with you, man.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, it is like, I see women there, I see men and women do it all the time. Like, they'll bullshit with somebody, but they know damn well they ain't getting in that person's bed.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So it's just, exactly. So it's the same thing, but sometimes that may be a plan, and that's what's funny about life. You could say yourself, oh, I'm not doing this and doing that. And he might hit you with some shit that you fucked up in the game. He's like, damn, I didn't even know he was gonna hit it. Right. Talk to me like that, and next thing emotions get involved because you're speaking to this person on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? When people don't realize when you're talking to somebody on a regular basis about everything that's going wrong, you know what I mean, and you know everything that was going wrong with her or him, especially when. It's even worse when whatever you're asking for is the same thing she's not getting in her situation and vice versa.
Correct.
Oh, it's a bad situation because y'all looking at it like shit. We might as well fuck with each other.
Right, you just fit like a puzzle. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever she got open, you just fit it right away.
Right.
Yeah. So to piggyback on what you said on the whole emotional thing. So I'm taking it that you guys think that there's such a thing as emotional cheating and physical cheating.
Not me. I think cheating is cheating, whether it's emotional or physical.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, if I'm in a relationship with Tom should not be speaking to Sarah about whatever she got going on, and you're with me. I'm your woman.
All right,
so whatever problems I got, you talk to me.
She getting a little excited. All right. All right, Tom. Tom better chill.
Would you say Tom not allowed to have friends of the other gender?
Is Tom not allowed to have friends of the other gender?
Of course, because I have friends of the other gender.
So where's the line drawn?
The line is, so I've had this happen in my relationship. I have a male best friend. So when
I was just about to get to that.
No. It's a respect level. So when he got in his relationship, I know I'm not gonna call him at 2:00 in the morning or text him at 2:00 in the morning, like what you doing or whatever. And I also know that I'm not gonna discuss. I'm in a relationship too, so I'm not gonna discuss my relationship, my problems, because I'm a woman. So women like to talk. Period. That's all women, and I'm gonna keep it real. So I'm not gonna discuss my problems with him either, because I have my female friends for that. But at the end of the day, you have to respect a relationship. He respected my relationship. He wasn't calling me crazy or trying to say, it was no more us hanging out to go out to eat, not because my boyfriend at the time said that, but because you have to respect your relationship, period.
But not all women do that, you know.
All right. Let me intervene real quick before we get crazy and I forget what I'm about to say. I get a little slow. I've been drinking.
Go ahead.
So let me say something to you. This is how I feel, and people might disagree. If I'm your friend before you get in your situation, I'm your friend. Because listen, friendships end. Relationships are not permanent all the time. I'm not for people who get in a relationship and dub their friends, and then when the relationship don't work out, then your friendship fucked up because you don't dub your friends because of the relationship. I look at it like this: you come into my relationship with my friends already there, with my best friend already there. Now, there is a respect level, yes. But my thing is, it's your duty now to introduce and make your man comfortable with him because he's not going nowhere. You understand what I'm saying? That's your best friend. He ain't going nowhere. That nigga been there through thick and thin before your man's got there.
You're right.
So at the end of the day, it's your job to make him feel comfortable.
You're right.
Let them go hang out. Let them hang out with each other. Hey, go on, Rob. Handle like as if they're best friends. You get what I'm saying?
But
that
they
way,
have.
when you gonna say, hey, that way when you say, hey, babe, me and Tom or me and Ezekiel about to go catch a drink and shoot a camera real quick, he ain't gonna feel no type of way about it. You know what I'm saying? Now I understand, like, if he's single and it's like, damn, he's single. But at the end of the day, that's the nigga's insecurity.
Right.
Like all that shit plays in with your age too. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
I'm 35.
don't agree with you with the whole age thing. Because I always say there's some very immature 50-year-olds and some very mature 25-year-olds.
You're
so
right.
I won't
but
jump in and say the age thing there.
Listen, we talking about the majority.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The majority. So at the end of the day, if a nigga's secure about himself, and I get with a chick and she have a male best friend, and I met him and me and him chop it up, we done been out here, if he have a girl, of course it makes it a lot easier, it makes it a lot comfortable for me. But if he does that, at the end of the day, it comes to I have to trust her. At the end of the day, he was there in this situation. He was in this situation. They was in this situation before I got with her.
Right.
So I can't just come in and be like, oh, nah, y'all can't do this. Y'all can't do that. That's a controlling thing, man. I'm sorry. If it's done in all good taste and we hang out all together, and there might be times. It's not like some shit like say, well, you tell me you're going out with your best friend every Friday night. Or every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's like, whoa, I can't be chill. But you go out with him twice a month.
Yeah, I think.
Or if you have a routine, because if I'm courting you and we talking, and I know about this friend, and I already know, from the jump that you and John hang out every Friday for happy hour. That's no time. That's your own time together for happy hour for 2 hours. And I know this before we make it serious. I'm not gonna get between that. Unless me and you have something else, I'm like, hey babe, I want to do this and that. I know you got your situation. That'd be your time to be like, hey babe, hey best friend, me and my man is gonna do this. We're gonna take a rain check. Cool. But I
agree with you, man. I agree with you. I just feel
that whole W and friendship because you in a new relationship, that shit is corny, man.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm gonna say I've never dubbed my relationship, and because this has really happened, I've never dubbed my relationship. Everybody was cool, but I also saw signs of him being jealous. And he saw it too. So that was just our standpoint to have. Me and him had to have a conversation, and me and my best friend, and it was more so an understanding. But I still spoke to him every day. I still
who's the jealous part? The best friend or your man?
The boyfriend, not my best friend, because my best friend, me and my best friend been best friends since we were 10. So You know, we went through
ain't nothing getting between that, bro.
And it's not.
Hold on. Before we even go any further, have you and your best friend have been intimate in the past?
Nope.
Because that plays a big picture. That plays a big part.
That does play a big part. But
if you and your best friend used to be getting nasty and now all of a sudden y'all quote unquote best friends, I got a problem with that.
Nope, but we never got nasty. He had relationships with my friends. So,
that's a good best friend. That's a good best friend. That's a good best friend. That's a good best friend.
Has he ever seen you in a compromising position?
What kind of compromise?
Naked.
No. Areola slip in the drawers.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Niggas like, my best friend, he's comfortable, you know?
No, because it came more to a situation like I'm his sister and that's my brother.
I can respect that.
That's family. Like,
I can respect that.
That's family. Like my brother. If I'm living in I have 3 older brothers.
Shout out to Tom.
I have 3 older brothers, and he is considered one of my older brothers too. He's more like family. I'm in my 30s now. We've been friends since we were 10 years old. So he's never slipped up and see my ass crack, an areola, my coochie, nothing, or me in just drawers. I'm always fully clothed around him. Like that was my
it's a legit friendship.
It's a brother-sister type joint. Listen, this is just my spiel on it. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like both parties should establish some type of relationship. I mean, some type of respect for both relationships.
Yeah.
Both the friendship and the relationship between the boyfriend and the girlfriend. As the friend going into as the friend entering into a relationship, I have to set ground rules as far as now the dynamic of both relationships now need to be made aware that we're no longer just the same as we were before. You know, I'm in a relationship now, and now my friend, not that my friendship is gonna end or that things are going to dimmer down drastically, but at the same time, your mate or your significant other should feel second to none.
You said mate? Yeah. Oh, man.
Listen, you said courting.
You did say courting.
So if you said courting, I'm going to say mate. All right? We sit here being proper today.
Courting sound more classy. It may sound like some real savagery.
So that's all I'm saying. I just feel like your significant other, that's a little better.
I totally agree with you, and I think the problem that happens today is that people don't, when they get into a situation, whatever your situation may be, whether if you're fucking with someone who's married, engaged, recently broken up, or y'all just fucking, nobody sits down and talks about the ground rules, the do's and don'ts, the boundaries. Nobody does that, and people get into a situation with expectations.
That's true.
Expecting certain shit to happen a certain kind of way.
That's true.
And nobody does that.
That's absolutely true, man. Nobody really sits down and talks about anything anymore. You just kind of live day by day.
So you're like, oh, listen, hey, this is what it is.
I'm a talker.
There's no reason why that man should have got jealous. if I'm not saying that you didn't, but if he came in a situation and you said, well, listen, this is it. I got a male best friend. He, you know, when we go out one day, he's gonna come. You introduce him. You let them chickens and let him know what it is. At the end of the day, if he's one of those dudes who can't be okay with it, you have to make a decision whether it's going to be like, well, all right, bet. Then this relationship's not going to be for us.
Right.
Or I'm going to stick with him because I want to fuck with him, but now you got to let your best friend know that he's going to have to stop being so much of a good best friend.
Right.
Which is going to put you in a situation like, well, damn, like, you know, and it's going to be fucked up because I say 6 months or a year, 2 years down the line, shit don't work out. Then, you know, shit ain't never going to be same between you and your best friend.
Mm-hmm. Now, my thing is, you can't change somebody's insecurity. So if your significant other is insecure about anything in a relationship or insecure about themselves, no matter what you do as far as setting ground rules or saying, you know what, I'm gonna respect our relationship and not see my best friend as much, no matter what you do, an insecure person is gonna be an insecure person.
Yep.
So you can't cater to somebody's insecurities to the extent where you now jeopardize the relationships that you have built over the years or that you have had prior to the person you met that is now insecure. You gotta be real careful not to burn the bridges for somebody who's probably not even worth it. You understand what I'm saying? Right. But let's move on, y'all. Let's move on. That was good though. I like that.
We probably stay on this.
Yeah, we can stay on the best friend topic all day. Especially because of Tom, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
what do you guys consider to be faithful? Scott, I'm gonna let you go first. When you're in a relationship, what is being faithful? He got quiet, y'all. He don't know. He got quiet, y'all. He said, hold on, I ain't done this in a long time.
To try to sum it up as brief as you can.
That was a good comeback.
You know,
that was a good comeback.
faithful is not just more of sexuality in terms of, you know, even the mental cheating or the verbal cheating. Just, you know, carry yourself accordingly. Carry yourself in my case, as a married man. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter.
So wait, hold on. You married?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we got a married one on the line now, y'all.
I ain't married.
That's why he said the mate like that. That's why he was so thinking about the mate. My bad, bro. Go ahead.
Stupid. Listen, man, it comes down to this. But like I said, if you go out with your boys or you go out, period, you know, yeah, you may go to Applebee's. There might be some, you know, some thotty on there. She might say something spicy to you. You know, you gotta carry yourself. It's not even about getting somebody's number. You can't be there saying, I'm taking jello shots of a bitch's breast. And shit. Like, you know, you gotta represent yourself, and you gotta represent your last name. You gotta represent your wife when you out in the streets, because you would hate for the shoe. You always gotta think, what if she did the same thing when I wasn't looking? What if she was at Applebee's having niggas taking shots off her titty? You gonna be sick with it.
Right. Off the titty, though. Off the titty? How you take a shot off the titty?
Man, you ain't been
forget it. You just said you're married. That's a whole nother podcast. How to take a shot off the titty. All right, episode whatever. All right, D, tell me, what is being faithful in your mind?
For me, being faithful is being transparent.
That's it?
Yes.
Because I could be transparent and cheat.
But
he's very right about that.
I could just be like, babe, I just slept with.
I'm saying, so in relationships, there's always different. He's married, so it's a whole different ball game.
I mean,
this is coming, because like if he's married, that means for me, anyone that's married, my perspective, they've gone through the hurdles. They've done everything. They've communicated how they should have communicated. They messed up.
I
disagree.
Being somebody that's been married before.
See, I haven't been married, so this is why this is my perspective, because I like even my friends that are married. You can disagree with that, but I'm speaking from a female. You mean
like City Hall married, or like black people married without the papers married?
What is
that? Listen, they had a whole big wedding, black people married, whole thing. Not just City Hall married. People got money in New York too, okay?
Not the Oprah Stedman married. Not you been with a nigga 12 years, but you ain't never did a real thing.
No, nobody didn't step up to City Hall. This is real marriages, okay? Real black love. But before, this is just me speaking off of what I've seen. I've never sat down and spoke to a married man, because I don't think I know any men that are married. I only know who my friends are married to.
Wait. You don't know nobody. Like, how old are you?
I am 32.
She don't know no married people.
No, not men. I said women. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I know my friend's husband, because I don't. My friend is my friend.
She said she hasn't sat down and spoken to anyone.
Like, I haven't spoken to a man. Like, that's been... Like, my brother is married, but that's a different story. I don't know nothing about that. So I can't speak on that because we've never had a conversation about it. But... And when it comes to the woman, for me, I am going to say transparent in a relationship. Because communication is key. I need to know where we at. Y'all going through different phases. The first phase you're going through, girls have butterflies and they don't even know if y'all together or not. They just say, because the man is saying, oh, hey, baby, if you go this way, I'm going to kill you. What you doing outside? Come here. I mean, they're not really going to kill them, but, you know, they saying all of these things to the woman to confuse them. So the woman is like, all right, you know what? I'm not even going to talk to nobody else because this boy crazy. And, you know, I'm going to just talk to him.
You just acknowledge that the nigga's 730, but you're going to stay with him.
Let me explain something to you. You're absolutely right, because girls are sometimes stupid. Especially,
are we talking about girls or we talking about women?
All right, we're going to talk about women. I'm sorry. Women are sometimes stupid. Like, my friends and I, majority of us are single. Okay?
Anthony, you hear this? And they say that they develop quicker than us. This is the bullshit I be talking
I don't know who you spoke to. I'm not going to sit here and I don't know what woman you spoke to that said they develop quicker than us. We probably develop with maturity and stuff. But when it comes to, I'm going to speak for myself. So when it comes to me wanting to be in a relationship or choosing a guy, I was never groomed to that. I was never shown or told anything, not even by my brothers. It was always, don't talk to this person. Oh no, this is the bad guy. This is that, but never why.
Right.
Right. So it's never the why, and it's always, they never showed me what I should learn. Just don't do this. They never showed me a picture or depicted a picture of who I should be dating, who I should be courting.
Right. Right.
We gotta use his words.
Or who I should be courting. It was more so, don't do it. But like at 32 now I understand. Like I've done seen. Right. I'm not gonna say I've seen it all, but I've had a crazy experience. So it's like, okay, I get it.
Hey,
now.
did you grow up in a household where your father was active, where your mother had a husband type figure there?
My parents are still married. However, my father has baby mothers before me.
Has what?
He has his baby mamas before me. I'm the last child, and he's married to my mother. But that doesn't mean anything. He still ain't teaching me anything. Yeah, because I'm Jamaican, so right word. Correct word.
For all my Southerners, he's a player.
Right? They were like Gallus.
What is that?
Correct word. Because definitely. So and my father, he never showed me I never seen really, even though my parents were married, it's like my mother wasn't getting flowers every day, or my parents were never affectionate. So, but I'm super affectionate. I don't know how that happened. So it's like, I was never taught certain things, and my brothers, it's like when they got older, they left. Like they left me. So they never taught me anything either. And whatever cheating or whatever they did, they always did it outside the home, because I was the little sister that was going to snitch. So I couldn't meet their girlfriends. I couldn't be around anything, because my brothers, they didn't like me for a long time, because I'm young and I just wanted to be all up in their business, and they like, oh, no. So it's not like they taught me. They started teaching me probably like a couple years ago. I want to say like...
A little too late though, right?
A little too late. Not even a little, a lot of late, because I'm 32 going on 33. So it's like, I'm still over here trying not to have my trust issues and trying not to have my insecurities and being open and receptive to new things. And it's like, sometimes it just can't happen because of...
Let me ask you, here's a good question I need to ask you. So I don't know you, but this is what I understand growing up, because I've had female cousins in your position. And what I understand is, mainly females, when you go to find a relationship, are you looking? And when I say looking, meaning that, do you allow it to just naturally flow, naturally happen? Because what happened to a female, a lot of females, not saying you, they have, a checklist of what they're looking for. And that's the wrong thing. And when I say that by that, I just say, sometimes what you want may not be what you need. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. So females will say, well, he needs to have this, he needs to have this, and that might be where you're going wrong, because obviously if you keep going by that and you keep getting bozos, then obviously you might have to fuck around your comfort zone or outside the box or outside what you usually naturally fuck with to get what you need, not what you want. So I never went around looking. I feel like I attract the same people though. However, I was dating someone that was like someone that I wasn't even attracted to, that I actually loved and thought this was it. But I can't say I go looking, because I'm open to different things. Like, I'm not always looking at looks. I might be looking at your financial situation now that I'm 30 something. But it's like, I never had a book like some girls do when they write down what they want in a man and what they need in a man. I never had a book.
But you obviously knew what you wanted, because you said you kept choosing the same type. So you knew what you wanted, you just never thought about it.
No, the same type just always comes to me. And there's someone in here nodding their head because they know. So
the same type comes, I'm pretty sure that's not the only type that came to you. That's the type that you accepted.
It could have been.
So at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who comes to us, it's who we accept.
You're right, you're absolutely. It's who we
so
accept.
So you
and
did
what
have
we
a type. In a way, you had a type.
All right. You're right.
You had a type because I'm pretty sure that's not the only type of man that approached you. You understand what I'm saying? That's just the only type of man that you entertained.
I mean, that's what she was really attracted to.
Right. She just never wrote it down, but it was written down in her mind.
You know what? You could be right.
So this leads me to a question. Leads me to a question that because you seem to be kind of disappointed at the fact that you entertained that type of man. Am I kind of getting somewhere with this? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm guessing that in your mind, that type of man isn't pretty much a good man as far as relationship is concerned?
All right, so we're just talking about relationships, not dating, right?
I mean...
So relationship...
Being in a relationship with somebody.
The person that I was in a relationship, I didn't have many.
Okay.
So the person
Think about what you're about to say now.
Two.
Two
high school,
Uh-huh.
3. High school, then one after high school, and then the last one. So.
And they were all the same type of man?
No, they weren't.
Okay.
I mean, high school was high school. That's young love, right?
Okay.
Then after
Did
that.
Did they hurt you? Did they hurt you?
Yes.
Okay.
Then after that, I was in a relationship with the type that I'm attracted to.
Did he hurt you?
Yep.
Okay.
Then after that, this is not the type that I was looking to be, like, thought I would ever end up with. And
is that in a good way or in a bad way?
To me, that's a good way because I always dated. I think I dated the same type all the time. But relationship-wise, that was a good thing because that was me being open and receptive to something new. And I didn't think that could be there for me, like how he was with me, I didn't think that I would, now I'm not going to say deserving, but I didn't think that opportunity would ever come to me.
This sounded like it had a lot of hope. So why did it end?
So it ended because he cheated the second time around. The first time we were together for about like 3 years. Mm-hmm. And in our relationship, he had another relationship with someone that I knew. We weren't friends, but I knew the person. And like this person is, the female was broadcasting their relationship. And then it's like, he's next to me. So I'm just totally confused on what's going on. And I was very upset. I was very upset at her. Not even him. Exactly, wow. Exactly. And this is the young me. As I got older, I was like, why would I ever
but
be
you're right. You can't be mad at him. You can't be mad at him, period. It doesn't matter if you're young or old.
You can't be mad at him.
No, I was mad at him.
Why can't you be mad at him?
No, I can be mad at him because he depicted a different picture of me to this female. And at the end of the day, when I did try to...
I don't know. He always in the street. That's a street dog.
We in the middle of the podcast. We talking about the dog.
Oh my bad. The hood dog chasing somebody in a motorcycle. You know.
Oh, okay. All right now. I was
like,
wait, what? The guy's always been the hood dog.
What
I've come to realize, because I've been cheated on, now I've done cheating.
All right, hold on. We gonna get to that. We gonna get to that. But what I was going at with her was, in your mind, you thought that he was a good guy.
I did.
So pretty much he had you fooled.
Very much fooled. But then this is how stupid I was. I went back the second time. After like a year. I still loved him. After all that time, I still loved him. And I went back. And then we started our little family. And then...
So you had a kid?
Yes.
Oh.
What you loved about him?
He was, at the time, he listened. Not listened to me meaning demanding. Like, he listened to me as far as my needs and wants. And as far as, like, us, it was new for us. We and also we were younger at the time. No, again, no one is there to really court us and tell us what to do, what not to do. We're just learning as we go.
I'm gonna have to charge you next time you use that court word. I'm about to publish that word. Copyright and everything.
But no one really like told us. We were just learning. A young couple like that really decided like, you know what, we're gonna do this second time around, and it didn't work because he cheated, and then he cheated on me with someone that is younger, way younger than me, and they're actually still in a relationship now. So exactly.
All right. So listen, my next question was y'all getting way ahead of this now. My next question, which you both of you guys answered already. My next question was, have you ever been cheated on? Hold on, because I got a little bit more for you. So have you been cheated on? If so, how did you find out and why did it happen? So because you've already been talking, D, go ahead. Answer those two questions for me.
Me? Okay. So I found out.
Now, is this is the only time you've been cheated on? This relationship that we're talking about right now?
No, I've been cheated on before this relationship. My relationship before, yes.
Okay.
I was always cheated on.
Wait, hold on. So you've been cheated on multiple times?
In my 3 relationships, I've been
cheated on. In every 3 relationships you've been cheated on?
I've been cheated on. I know, right? Sucks to be me, but I'm not gonna talk about my high school relationship.
It may sound insensitive, but just how people say, not say like that is fucked up. When you ever heard terms say niggas die every day? Niggas get cheated on every day. Cheating on you is not the worst thing that can happen. You know, build you up and make you a better person.
It does.
It depends how you react to it.
Exactly, and then also as a female, like again, I've never been. No one ever showed me or gave me reasons why I should do certain things. So, or
hello?
My friends were the.
Oh.
Hello.
Y'all can hear me?
We here.
Metro PCS is acting.
Yeah, I know.
My friends who were also the same age as me, and they were the ones to help me get through my situations. I couldn't rely on my mom or my dad because it's like
you had a support team. It don't matter who your support team is, just as long as you have one.
Yeah, I had a support team, but then I don't have a support team to actually show me the way or pave that way through their own experience, because what I'm dealing with, my friends are dealing with too.
I'm gonna be honest with you, and I don't mean to cut you. Whether you had a great example or not, that doesn't eliminate the fact that you would have probably got cheated on.
No, it doesn't, but it probably would have helped me through the process of my own emotional healing and getting through these things, because it's hard. It's not a good feeling.
Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Are you a part of any type of social club or church or anything like that? And I don't mean in a spiritual standpoint. I know a lot of people. I know, like when I went to church. Yeah, it was from a spiritual standpoint, but it's also to be around other men who are married that might have been older than me that suffer through the same issues I have went through, and I can get that guidance from them.
No, I wasn't.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I wasn't. I just had my friends and my maybe one of my older cousins, but again, like no one could ever tell me. Like it took me a minute to get over what had happened to me 3 years ago. It just took a minute.
No. All right, so how did you find out that he cheated?
Honestly, I just had that instinct because he stopped listening.
So you had no proof?
No. I had the instinct off of his behavior.
So you still to this day not sure if he cheated?
Oh no, I know he cheated because we had a conversation about it.
Oh, okay.
But
so you pressed him?
I didn't press him. When he was able to get over his little ego of certain things, because it came to a point where he blamed me. It came to a point where he would tell his friends I wasn't cooking, or I made the same thing every day, or something like that. And
that could get a little repetitive, though.
Honestly, I was a very.
I'm not saying it's gonna drive me to cheat, but it might be a little.
But I think these were the
if
things.
She cooking steak and you cooking chicken.
So I didn't eat red meat. Right? But he did. And when I went to the supermarket, I wasn't that woman that's going to make you what I eat. I will cook separate dinners. That's not a problem because I love to cook. But if we're in a relationship, I need you to be able to communicate with me. What am I? And I used to ask him, like, what am I doing? Like when he would come home and he would sleep on the couch and not next to me, that bothered me. I would wake him up in the morning. I'd be like, am I doing something wrong? Let me know. Like this is. it's not like we were together for like 6 going on 7 years. We were together for a minute. However, we're living together. We have a child, and then my son, that's not his child. So it's like, talk to me. Let me know what I am doing wrong so we can fix this. I even said, let's go to counseling. Because at the end of the day, I want you to be able to talk to me. It sucked that I had to hear a lot of lies from his friends, and I'm sitting there like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, anything he wanted, I would have done it for him. But I need to know.
You said you heard stuff from his friends?
His friends.
I know,
you heard the truth from his friends?
The truth from his friends.
They ain't real friends.
It wasn't.
At the end, I'm gonna.
They was trying to get to you, girl. That's what they was trying to do. They was trying to get at you.
No, they weren't. They had their own relationships, but they did let me know, like, listen, because one of his friends was like, so if you in the house making turkey meat, why you ain't make steak for him? I was like, there's always steak in the fridge, but I don't want to just cook the steak. What do you want? If you don't want steak and you want lamb chops, I'm gonna go to the supermarket and get you lamb chops. That's how I was.
But obviously, if it's in the fridge and you know he likes more than just turkey, just cook it.
No, you're absolutely right. But then I was also dealing with a person that was picky. And I'm very submissive, so it's like I want to be. I can
tell because you sound like you just put up with a little too much here.
Right?
I woke him up in the morning and I asked him what could I do better. Like, not a lot of girls do that.
No, they don't.
It's hard to have a conversation like this because then, like I said, it's my first time meeting her. Not saying what you say is true or false. It sounds good, but I hate going on a story like this when a gentleman or the other party's not here to defend himself.
That's true. That's true. But listen, we got her here, so we just hearing her side of the story from a female's perspective.
You can always hear somebody's side of the story, but sometimes people don't realize really what their faults were. And I can speak to that for myself. And that's why I probably was there to witness it. Well, listen, you wasn't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Just, when it comes from us, sometimes you feel like we rationalize stuff and it makes sense to us, when it may not even be totally right.
You're right. But if he was here, he would, like, now, like, we're very good with, like, co-parenting and being able to have a conversation now. And if he was here, he would say, like, yeah, I've never vocalized. Well, this is what he told me.
So that's why communication is so big to you. When I said what is
so big to me.
I get it now.
So big to me.
I could understand.
Because I feel like once we're both transparent on what we're doing and what we want, then then we can be able to move forward, because I'm going to listen to what you want. I'm going to make sure your wants or needs are fulfilled. But what about, like, I need you to be on the same page with me. And I'm good with communication. I'm so good with communication that it's not even funny. Once we have that, I feel like communication and being able to listen, we're good.
So why do you think he cheated?
I think he cheated because I felt like he wanted, like, he wanted something new, and he wanted someone that's going to be more submissive to.
I don't think anybody can be more submissive than you. I ain't even gonna hold you. Like, you're shocking me here. Then. So I don't think that's the reason why he wanted. That's what he went out there.
I mean, if it's not, then, but this is just how I feel. Maybe he just wanted someone that was going to listen to him more, or someone that was going to.
But if he didn't speak, how did he want somebody to listen to him?
As a woman, I'm going to say, for me, I'm not controlling. However, we lived together, so I hated a mess. I don't think he liked that either. I think also he thought that maybe I was trying to parent him in our relationship, and I wasn't. It was just more so, yeah, you're the man and you work. You got your 2 jobs. I got my 2 jobs too. We're both hustling in this house, and we're both bringing home money for our children, because he has more than just my daughter, and I have my son as well. So we're doing this, but, like, meet me halfway. Sometimes when I come home, like, I get home late too. Why when I walk through the door, I got to trip over your sneakers? At least put the sneaker to the side. It was like little things, and I think he did not like the fact that I was like, I would get upset.
Over sneakers every so often. The unexpected, that builds character. I don't take it to heart.
This is just me being light on the conversation.
So Scott, talk to me. You mentioned earlier that you've been cheated on and you've cheated, right?
Right.
So why did you think you got cheated on? One, and how did you even find out?
Well, what happened was, I'll tell you this. It stems back a while ago. Me and my wife been together 17 years.
Congratulations on that 17 years, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I'll tell you this. I actually found out in church.
You found out in church?
Yeah, I found out in church.
Ooh.
So my first kid, we got 3 kids together. So I found out on my first kid. My first kid at the time, said she might have been maybe like, might have been like 2 years old at the time. I'm just ballparking it.
Uh-huh.
And what happened was, it was somebody that she was working with, and she was working for a company, and the owner of the company, his son used to work there. Obviously, as like a manager or something like that. So, come to find out, he knew. She had a friend that knew the son. That's how she got the in to get in.
Got it.
So he came back. He told me, he was like, yeah, so and so do like her. And I'm not stressing that. I've never been a dude to be insecure. Never. Right. So it was more so. Sometimes I had stress because he ain't look better than me. That's one. So what happened was, it just, we were young at the time. We were probably like what, 20, 21, 22. Her whole thing of cheating was, I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. He had a lot of things, timeshare. His father had money. It was just more so of what he can do for her or do for her situation. So she would do shit. She would say, when she found out, when I found out was, she left me her phone to look at pictures, and she walked away, and I guess she forgot she left certain pictures there. There was pictures in there, like her underwear. She's like, send it to him.
That she didn't send to you.
I was like, right. And I'm like, you ain't send me this, but when I looked at the messages, I seen it.
So you was going through her phone?
No, well, I only had to go to her messages.
You went
through
because
we were already looking at pictures.
So you get
what I'm saying?
Picture. Listen, I'm an iPhone guy. I know you. I know you an Android guy, but I also ain't dumb. So I know that the pictures and the messages in 2 different places.
Listen, this was way back before iPhone. Boy, this was like doing 3G, brother. You remember iPhone 3G when the iPhone used to was
I had an iPhone 3G, and the pictures were never in the messages.
Brother, let me tell you something. This is when we had Razor. You remember the Razor when the Razor first came out?
I remember the Razors.
It was back then. So
listen, back then, the pictures was never in the messages. But anyways, go ahead.
But let me explain something to you. So she already had certain behaviors that she was doing. Things like, she was already hanging out and, like I worked out. I was working 3 jobs at the time. 3 jobs. So her whole thing, she's trying to say I didn't have time for you, time for her. But at the same time is that I'm not just working 3 jobs for no reason. I'm working 3 jobs to hold us down and take care of the brand new baby.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So one job may be like $7 an hour. The other one might be $9. The other one might be $11. So, I'm trying to do my thing. I'm trying to do what a man's supposed to do and hold it down. Uh-huh. So obviously, like I said, age plays a factor because when you're not mature enough to understand, as a woman, you make dumb and rash decisions like that. So, and selfish decisions. So her whole thing was that she felt like if she can get him to, and a big thing for her was he had a vehicle. I didn't have a vehicle then. So like if she needed to go to BJ's or Costco, pretty much whatever she needed or she wanted, he was willing to do. And it wasn't on a sexual standpoint. It was just anything. Like if she needed $100, if she needed to go to the laundromat, it could be 2:00 in the morning, and the choosing Queens, she needed to get to Brooklyn, and Trans was working. That nigga was getting out of his bed, and he was going to go get her up and take her home.
Basically, he was doing the things that you at the time couldn't do for her.
I couldn't do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's not like I didn't work and you didn't have money and you couldn't take a cab.
I mean, I understand that. You know what I'm saying?
But she looks at it like, oh, why use my money when I can get the ride for free?
Correct.
You feel what I'm saying?
Correct.
But it's more than just the ride. It's the respect factor. Because you know what I'm saying? It's not like I didn't have the bread. We had money. It had nothing to do with the struggle. She just rather spend his money than our money like he was doing me a favor. Right. No, mama, you're not doing me a favor.
Right.
I can't get mad at him because his parents lined him up the way they were supposed to. I had nothing given to me. I worked for everything I had.
Right.
So if I'm working and we need to spend $30 to go so you get from point A to point B 3 in the morning and train acting up, fuck it. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So apparently, I work all the time. She talking to him all the time. What happens? People get close. Yeah, I start talking about personal shit, and I was never the type to say, she couldn't hang out with him. I just said three's a crowd. That whole y'all going out one-on-one shit is not I'm not with it. Because when that's your best friend.
Right.
He came in the picture afterwards. So.
Now, listen, it's funny because now that y'all talking about y'all experiences, I understand y'all viewpoint on a lot of different things that y'all had spoken about earlier. With her, I got the whole communication thing, and now I'm hearing you talk about your situation, and now I understand why you view that whole friendship thing so lightly. You know what I'm saying? Like now I could understand now. But go ahead, continue.
Well, because you gotta understand, like I said. Her behavior and things that she was doing was just like, it is what it was. I didn't put so much energy into it because, like I said, I was working and I had a brand new baby at the time. She was like 2-3 years old. And, I looked through, she showed me the photo gallery. She walked away. I went through her message with old boy and I seen the pictures. And when I confronted her about it, I just left out of church. They actually had an event and I left the event and I went home. And, and we reconciled, we stayed together, but it continued to happen, and I allowed it to happen for 7-8 years.
Wow. You allowed it to happen? Why did you allow it to happen?
Yeah.
You know what it is? I grew up in a house where my father wasn't present. And I had a daughter. I just didn't want my kid to grow up in the whole separated parent environment. I had a daughter. I didn't want no other strange niggas around her. I know how pedophiles. I just didn't want none of that.
So you put up with it for how long?
8 years, bro.
8
wow.
years. So you knowingly knew.
No. It got crazier. So I didn't know the number was 8 years. So apparently what happened was, I thought it was like maybe something like 4 years, 5. Still don't make it better. It's still bad. But it was just more so, I couldn't, like, it would be certain shit like, like, she'll tell me, she's coming from the subway. And I know, just like I got women intuition, niggas got intuition too. I go outside, wait on the cross street on the other side of the block, and watch her get out the nigga's car. Wow. And she'll tell me she came from the subway.
What?
Even when she was pregnant, even when she was pregnant with my second child. Sure? I came from the subway, but I see her coming from the other side, and there's no trains from that way. It's just buses.
Right.
So, it was just like, whatever this nigga had, she couldn't let this nigga go. Whatever the friendship, whatever hold she had on him, like, it was so deep that she didn't even know. I had a friend whose sister worked in T-Mobile. I'm talking about, like, when you call 611, there's niggas that picked up. So I had the hook. She'll let me know, like, who's calling, if it was a text message from one number, if it was a JPEG picture that was sent. Obviously she can't send me the picture because she can't see the picture.
Right.
But it was certain things. And say if I had to leave out of the house at 7 o'clock to go to work, they're on the phone at 7:03. Right after I leave. And if I come in the house at 6 o'clock, they off the phone at 5:58. And they be on the phone for an hour, 2 hours. Like, I'm just like, yo, you're not even on the phone that long with me.
So what I want to know, because we're both sitting here trying to wrap our brains around what you're saying right now, because it's absurd that you put up with it for so long.
I put up with it. Man, let me tell you something. It was so rare that even I've had her own family members tell me, like, I was dumb. I should have been dipped a long time ago. Like, she's lucky to have me.
Listen, at the end of the day, bro, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Because not many humans would do that. But at some point or another,
I did a lot of it for the kids, to be very real with you. I just didn't want my kids, my girls, to be a grown up at a broken home. I know too many homegirls of mine that have been in situations where they've been touched by mommy's boyfriends or stepfathers. Nigga, I end up somewhere in the jail, bro.
Right. All right. You sound like a real good guy right now. So my next question is this, because you sound like you a real good guy right now. So in this whole process, hold on.
I won't say I'm an innocent guy.
No, I know.
I'm not an innocent.
Listen, I know you, so I know you're not. So, but my thing is this: at what point, and this is going to my next question. Have you ever cheated? So my question to you, narrowing it down, is, did you start cheating prior to those 8 years or after?
After. So
you really put up with this for 8 years and then step out?
No. Well, what happened? It started about, my daughter was born in 2005. Let's say it started about 2007. So
Which daughter is this? The first one,
the first one.
The first one. Okay.
One. So my daughter was about like, a year, 2 years old around when they started. So I didn't really step out the box and spread my wings until like 2011. Real talk. And it's not because I didn't want to.
So this is like 4 years, 4 or 5 years.
I worked so much that I didn't have the time to. You feel what I'm saying? Like I'm working 2-3 jobs. Like I'm grinding. I don't got time to step out and get. I was about my money.
Right.
Coming home, spend time with the kids. Even if I see the chick I wanted to grab her ribs. I ain't had the time to do it. I ain't had the time to do it.
So you didn't start stepping out till about 4 or 5 years after her infidelity.
Right.
Okay, so you put up with it for about 4 or 5 years. Now, was it her infidelity that led you to start cheating?
Yeah.
Why? Because you just got fed up? You said if she doing it, why not you do it?
Basically.
Okay. How did she react to that? Or did she find out? Did you tell her?
When I actually stepped out, actually did it, I had a whole relationship with a chick, and I didn't give a fuck. I didn't hide it. I didn't care.
You had a whole relationship.
And I had a whole relationship with her. Like I didn't care. It was a chick that. What made it even worse, it was one of her friends' cousins that she wasn't cool like that, but she knew of.
Hold on, so it was somebody she knew.
She knew, but she didn't know. She knew of her. Like say if you have a best friend and you met your best friend's cousin, but you don't know her, you just know of her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was kind of a situation like that. And to be honest with you, Shorty had a whole relationship. She approached me. You know what I'm saying? It was a night, niggas was drinking. She pressed me, grabbed my shit, and I was like, oh, no, I was thrown off. I was thrown off.
Right.
Like, I didn't see it come out of nowhere, and I was like, fuck it, it is what it is. And
she
that's
deserved it.
So wait, hold on. You said who deserved it? His wife?
Yeah.
I mean,
it is what it is.
Eye for an eye, 2 for 2, huh?
And he was willing to stick around. She deserved that.
Too, but what you understand though, what made it even worse for me, and it's crazy. Like it's crazy when I tell people this story because for us to be together now after all she did, all after I did, it's like we didn't hit rock bottom. The only place to go now is up.
Facts. And that's why I said I commend you for the 17 years. You know what I'm saying? Because I know you personally and I know the struggle, I know the story. So to hear you say that y'all hit 17 years, it wasn't an easy 17 years. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I could have left a long time ago. She could have left a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? But when there's actually genuine love there, you try to tough it out. And so far we hit them with trust me, they ain't easy. It's times we still argue, we still go through it. But at the end of the day, that's the problem that our generation, and when I say our generation, I mean like the new generation does. They throw the D word around too easily, that divorce word. We done had great grandparents that went through so much shit, and them niggas stayed together 45, 50 years.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Granddad probably had 3 fucking families outside the whole fucking marriage, and it was right for that.
That's a fact.
But I'm just saying, like, niggas is quick to get divorced for everything and anything.
So
how old were you when you got married?
He was about 24.
Oh, 24.
He was about 24, something like that.
Okay.
So so do you think, and I'm asking both of you guys this question, do you think that is normal in a marriage or in a relationship for one or the other party to step out?
No.
I'll tell you this. A lot of people don't like to have this conversation with me, especially like when we have like game nights with friends. And then it arises, my wife typically doesn't like it because it's just how I believe. This is what I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I feel men weren't really built genetically to be with one woman. The reason why I say that, not saying that a man can't be with one woman. I thought we weren't genetically made to be with one woman. The reason why I'm saying is if you look from a religious standpoint, it doesn't matter what holy book you look at, whether it's the Kabbalah, the Bible, or the Quran. Everybody had more than one wife. Abraham.
Oh, God.
Which was, you don't say, oh, God. It's known facts, though.
He
had multiple wives. He had multiple wives. And that was God's man. But people got to realize it's not about having.
Since we gonna go biblical and spiritual.
Let me talk first. But at the end of the day, I'm trying to go, this is what I'm trying to say. It's not about, you just being with multiple women. No, you have to be able to take care of those women equally. A whole thing went into it. You know what I'm saying? It's not about, you just fuck. It's not about you just fucking everything and anything. No, I'm not talking about in terms of that. I'm just trying to say how you have billions of men out here in this world. We all suffer from the same thing.
That's a fact.
But
But let me tell you how. And I don't really want to go spiritual or biblical in no way, because not everybody is of the biblical belief. But when we start talking about religion and we start talking about men in the Bible who had multiple men, you got to remember Abraham wasn't the first man, right? So when you trace back in biblical terms, you trace back to Genesis, and before Abraham there was Adam, and when God created Adam, He created one woman for Adam. It wasn't until after they sinned that all these things started to come into play, as far as infidelity and cheating and all these things. So God's natural plan was for one woman and one man.
Thank you.
If that was the case, He would have created 3 women or 2 women for that man. He only created one. It wasn't until the devil got involved and now we have sin that now, you know what I'm saying, all these other problems such as infidelity and cheating and multiple women happen to carry on in our lineages. But it wasn't that God's purpose was for man to have multiple women. He said that I'm gonna make you a helpmate. He created somebody to help us through the journey of life. They over here pointing at their ribs. He took from his rib and created what he now called woman. You know what I'm saying? So God's original plan wasn't for men to have multiple women. His original plan was for man to have a woman, and they too then went about the journey of life. Now, what I find that we do it as humans, we do this quite often. We kind of humanize our bad habits. So because men at the time wanted to have multiple women, they made it part of life, or they made it seem as if though it were religious. But it wasn't a thing that it was religion, it was cultural. And being religious and being cultural is two different things. Yep. Because even to this day, if you go into the Middle East, those men have multiple women.
Yep.
But when you come to America, you can't legally marry multiple women. So that goes to show you that is a cultural differences. That is a cultural difference, not a specific religion or religious difference. It's just a cultural difference. So to just kind of be devil's advocate with you.
Thank you.
It's not a really, now I'm not going on the ladies' side now, but it's not really a matter of what God, that men are not designed to. It's more of can we as men find a way to get back to God's original plan? And that's really and honestly the real reason why I even made this podcast, is because I've been there. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know my story, bro. Like, I've been there, done it. I got 3 t-shirts and a hat. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, as the older I get and the more of life I experience, I realize and I learn that the multiple women is cool and is dandy while you doing it, but at the end of the day, for you to fulfill your plan or your purpose on this earth, and there's no better way to do it with your soulmate, your significant other, your one lady. You know what I'm saying? Because all these multiple women do is suck the life out of your life. And that one woman, what she ends up doing is she ends up edifying you. You understand what I'm saying? And I know for a fact that you believe it too. Because you wouldn't have believed it.
But I believe it. I just feel like the problem is why people do this is people rush into a situation with people that is not for them. They may want to be with them for so bad, but if you know this person is not for you, sometimes deep down inside they know the person is not for them, but they forcing something to happen.
Yo, and that's a whole fact. That's a whole fact.
They want something to manifest out of that situation. You know what I'm saying?
That's a whole fact.
Sometimes people gotta realize certain people are temporary in your life. Some people are not meant to be there permanently. Some people are meant there to put you through some type of bullshit so you could come out of a certain way. So now you are better for your next situation. Right. You know what? Sometimes people don't know how to let certain things go because they're so gripped onto it.
Right. And my thing is, I don't even think that. I think we fail, especially in our generation and in the generations after us. I think, and I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, I just think that when we go into a relationship, we don't go into relationships for the future. We go into relationships for the now. So we meet and I can only speak from a male's perspective. We see an attractive young lady, and it's like, yo, damn, she bad. I gotta have that. I want it. But we're not thinking, can she be the grandmother of my grandkids? We're not thinking, can she be the woman I raised my 3, 4, 5 kids with?
Because,
we're not thinking long term.
We're thinking, and I can't say just men, but we're thinking in the lust. We're thinking of the pleasure of now. We're not thinking in terms of.
But even women. Even women do the same thing.
Right. I just said that. But see, at the same time, too, it goes back to what she said. A lot of us weren't brought up or taught how or what to be looking for.
Yeah.
My dad wasn't there. He trying to say, he didn't tell me, you want a woman who know how to cook. You want a woman who know how to this, who know how to that. Who know how to scrape the callus off your heel. Messing around. But seriously.
I'm about to say that's a little extreme, but I'll take her, too. I'll take her.
But I'm just trying to say, we're going off of what, we are self-taught, or what we mirror on TV or in the hood, where we grew up, you know what I'm saying? And it's so crazy. A lot of shit that's fucked up has become the norm.
Right.
And the fact that we know it's fucked up, but we still emulate it because
it's just part of life. It's normal. It's the norm.
It's the same situation. We know cigarettes is bad for them. Do still smoke it.
Right.
So it's just
right. But at the same time, I don't like to dwell on the victim mentality, because I feel like the people in life who have made a difference in not just our generation, but just in life in general, they refuse to accept the norm. You understand what I'm saying? So I hear a lot of people blame others for their own faults.
Oh my gosh, I know someone that does that.
You do? I think I do too. So my thing is, I don't think that we can no longer, especially at our age, we can't blame our parents for not teaching us.
Exactly.
And we can't blame
you're right.
the ones that came before us for not showing us. I feel that now, because we know better, we need to teach our kids and the next generation.
It has to be a point. You're right. It has to be a point where you own accountability and say, all right, you know what? I was a fuckboy for X amount of years. I was doing this. I was doing that. Now it's time to just, all right, there's accountability.
Right.
A lot of things in relationships, bro, period, is communication and accountability.
Right.
But that's the major thing motherfuckers lack.
Right.
Yep, and it's so crazy, because on my way here, I was telling my friend, my parents were never affectionate. However, I'm very affectionate with my children, and I tell my daughter she's beautiful every day. And she's only 4, so I can't talk to her about relationships. However, I do talk to my son. He's in junior high school. Let's be real. I'm not gonna try to paint a perfect picture, because I know when I was in junior high school, people was fresh. And I know when I was in elementary school, people was fresh. So I'm not even gonna try to hide behind that. He had a little girlfriend.
Elementary school you went to?
Huh?
Now, it's that you not seeing her, bro. You're not seeing you can't see her. That's why you can't understand the freshness. But yeah, I get it. I get it. You ain't see her. That's the problem. You can't see her.
I wasn't fresh, but things did happen.
What you called it? What she called it?
The spillage.
The spillage. She got the spillage, bro. She got the spillage.
Listen, I wasn't fresh, but I've seen it, so I'm not going to be blinded by it. Like, even like my son's birthday is coming up. So I said to him, like, we used to live in Brooklyn. So I'm like, so I'm going to ask a few of your friends to come.
We here.
Oh, all right.
So I said to my son, like, his birthday's coming up. I said, so I'm going to speak to the parents of we used to live in Brooklyn. So, and I'm cool with his friends' parents. We speak, we communicate. So I said, I'll ask them, your 3 little friends to come over. And then he was like, okay. So I said, what about your friends from Queens? Because I'm talking to him and I'm teaching him these things. He said, Mommy, I do not want my friends from Queens to come, because they was smoking weed in the hallway, smoking weed when we walking home, and doing all of these things, and they're all about the woo. He's like, I'm not about that life. And I looked at him, and I clapped my hand and I said, thank you. I said, keep that same mentality as you continue to grow, because I'm teaching him certain things. I'm not telling him not to hang out with these people. I mean, of course I would love for him not to hang out with them, but they're kids. They probably have a different upbringing, and they probably don't have a parent to tell them, don't do this thing. But I don't mind being the parent that allows them to come over the house and hang out and have a backyard instead of going to a park that could possibly be shot up when they could play basketball in the backyard. So, and this goes to me, like, now my daughter is growing up in a home where her parents are not together. So when he first got with his girlfriend, and I didn't know, he was hiding it still, but I told him, I don't want her around. My daughter was 2. I don't want my daughter around women because I don't know if you're going to be with this girl. I don't need her to be confused or anything like that. However,
well, that's a conversation you and the man supposed to have. You know what I'm saying?
We had that conversation, but you know what? He didn't care. He said, I don't care. I said, how would you feel if I have her around another man? We just broke up. Like 2 days ago, and you was already in a relationship. So let's really have this conversation because she's a young black girl. We have to raise this girl and let her know that she is a beautiful black queen, and she does. Even though you and her mother are not together, y'all can still co-parent. Y'all can still come together. It was like a whole big thing. We couldn't even conversate because he didn't agree with me. But you can see your daughter anytime. However, you are already living with this woman. And I don't want her around that yet. She's 2 years old. She doesn't need to be introduced to that. And this is where, like, just to go back to what you're saying, we have to show them. We have to teach them. If the relationship didn't work, let the parenting work. Let us raise her different to still know that she's a young black queen and her worth. Right. And I'm going to let her know her worth every day. I do it every morning with her.
You know what? The messed up, the thing about that is that I'm a total firm believer that, you know, there's things that, like, for instance, you being a single mother raising a young black man. Mm-hmm. Right. You know, it's things like that where I've always felt like, you know, it's only certain things a woman can teach her son. There's only certain things that a son can only learn from his father.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So
and not just the son, the woman too, the daughters too.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Thank you. And I just said at the end of the day, but there's also there's only things that a young girl will take receptives from her father that she will take from her mother.
Absolutely
because
right.
At the end of the day, a daughter's love is different, and she's going to emulate that love to whatever bozo she sees in the street.
Correct.
Hopefully it ain't a bozo.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it comes different. It's different when it's coming from her father versus coming from her mother.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
You're absolutely right.
She totally, you know, she's taking it in, but when it comes from a father, you know, and that's why I said a lot of my ways I changed a lot because I got 3 daughters now.
Ooh. I mean, I know you got 3 daughters because you did a lot of these streets there, brother.
I got, you know what I'm saying, man?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, as a man, it hits the point now where you're going to say to yourself, all right, damn, you know, you want to leave a legacy,
right?
But you also want to show some kind of example to your daughters to show what kind of men that they need,
right?
Because at the end, all they're going to see is the hurt that she inflicted on their mother. And two things happen: either they resent you for it, or they're going to get with someone that did the same exact thing.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. And it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen intentionally. It just happens naturally because that's just what they're used to. And
right, exactly.
Just to kind of piggyback on what you said, a man, you see, a woman could nurture their kids all they want, but a child's identity comes from their father. That's like knowing who you are and knowing what you're worth comes from the man of the house, comes from your dad.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? And another reason why I even want to do this podcast is just because you know what I'm saying, I want us of this generation to be able to be a difference. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of us grew up in single parent homes. You know what I mean? A lot of us, including myself, grew up with a single mom.
Well, let's also be clear, Anthony. A single parent home doesn't necessarily mean that it's just
that the dad. That's a fact.
You can have both parents there. A mother can still be absent.
That's a fact.
That's what it was in my house.
That's a fact. You can definitely have both of them there.
You can have both parents there, and not necessarily say be absent. But if you got a father who ain't fucking, or a mother who ain't fucking mature, you got a lot of babies having babies.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? You got a lot of people who just ain't never really grew up. I seen 45-year-old women and men acting their shoe size. Like, and you look at it, and you know, you look at the kids and say, why the fuck the kids act like that?
Right.
And then when you meet the parents, you're like, oh shit, I see why they fucking act like that.
And it's just a continuous cycle, and it's sad because it is something that, you know what I'm saying, we as blacks and as Hispanics and as Caribbeans, it is very, very dominant in our culture. You understand what I'm saying? And I just feel like we've been through too much now, and we've suffered enough to continue this cycle. And we at this age or at this generation, we can try to make a change or make some type of difference. You understand what I'm saying? Because our kids don't need to go through the same things we went through. Nope. It's sad. Yeah. It's sad that generations go through worse than the generation before. You understand what I'm saying? Right. It's supposed to be the opposite. Right. We're supposed to put our kids and teach our kids in a manner where they don't struggle in the same struggles we had. They struggle through less.
Crazy? You know what's crazy? I look at other cultures and look at this in other cultures. And when I say cultures, I'm going to look at it in terms of America versus the world. And this is how I look at it. When it comes to cultures outside of Black Americans, we all cultures deal with the same shit we deal with, infidelity, alcoholic parents. They all deal with it. But the difference is with those cultures, they make sure that it's about family. They leave shit behind for their family, whether it be property, businesses. Right. They make sure the family is good. Parents stick around. They don't just up and leave and separate. Right. For us, everything is separation. But then again, too, what they don't deal with either is the systematic injustice where a lot of fathers get thrown into jail, and now they got a fucking record, and now they're here that they can't do what they need to do.
And my thing is, and I'm a firm believer on not blaming other people. You understand what I'm saying? So we can't really, my whole thing is, and I'm not saying that all people who've been thrown in jail do something to be thrown in jail.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that's an excuse.
My thing is, we can, as a people, try our best to not end up in predicaments where we now have to call that our story. You understand what I'm saying? So it's more of, we should be more aware of the environments and the things we do. And I get it, man. Sometimes we gotta hustle and we gotta do what we gotta do. But especially when you got kids, man, you gotta know what's worth it and what's not. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And it's we're called to a higher calling, especially when we got kids or we have a family. Because now we're just not for us. It's for our kids, it's for our wife, it's for our lady. Right. You know what I'm saying? And we have to make sure that especially as a man, that we bring some type of security to their life. And security doesn't just mean, I'm gonna call my daddy to beat you up. That means in every aspect. That means my kids and my lady should know that at no time should I be getting she be getting a phone call that I'm getting arrested for doing something that I know I shouldn't be doing. Or that she feels secure that if we need something in the house, I'm gonna work my butt off to provide. Like, security comes in so many different aspects. You understand what I'm saying? Right. Comes in so many different aspects. And that kind of leads to my next question. We've already been talking about it, as far as like, does your upbringing affect the way you view relationships or the way you act in a relationship?
Yes, it does. For
me, it can. It can, but I feel like that's only an excuse. That can only be an excuse for so long.
Right. Now, it just depends on how you take it, because my main thing has always been, and like I said in the first episode, I love my dad with all my heart, my biological dad now, because I know him and we have a dope relationship, even though he was absent from my life for 21 years. Right. The first 21 years of my life. You understand what I'm saying? Although that happened, we have a dope relationship now. But my main thing has always been kind of like you. I never want to have kids and not be present in my kids. Like, I want to put my kids to sleep every night and I want to wake them up in the morning. So people like, yo, how you don't have no kids at your age? Now, the reason why I don't have no kids at my age is because I don't want to have a baby mama. No disrespect to people disrespect to people who are baby mothers or baby fathers or whatever. But for me as a man, I don't want to put my children through that experience, because I went through it. And I know and I understand the struggles and the hurts that a 12-year-old or a 7-year-old or a 10-year-old little boy goes through, wondering, where is his father? Why is my dad not here? Why is it that everybody's dad comes to their parent-teacher conference? My dad never goes to him. Why is it that I played sports for 15 years of my life, and to this day I can say my biological dad never ever saw me play sports? I understand that struggle. I understand that. So I never want to put my kids in that same predicament. And like I said, no judgment to anybody, man. Like, I understand that sometimes life happens. You understand? But sometimes we put ourselves in predicaments. You understand what I'm saying? We are irresponsible in the decisions that we do, that we make. And it's just like, at what point are we going to be more responsible towards, like you said, not making it an excuse anymore, but instead of using it as an excuse, using it as some type of force to drive us not to be like the people who we don't want to be like. You understand?
So just to say, like, my son goes through that now. He's about to turn 12. And, you know, I'm not going to discuss his father, but, like, this is part of a reason why I became a social worker.
Okay.
Because I wanted to be able to channel my son, and I can't. I still can't. I can't relate to him, and even though I'm a social worker, it's unethical to try to practice anything on him. So I make sure he gets outside services. He has counseling and therapy, and a lot of the times he brings up, you know, his dad, and a lot of as a woman, you know, I try to talk to him about, like, about women and don't degrade women and all of these things, but it's like he wants to hear that from his dad, not from me.
Right.
I can't help that. I just try to teach him the way so that when he gets older, he's not going to be in that category as this nigga ain't shit.
Right.
And at the same time, I know that he's going to be a sweet young boy when he decides to be in a relationship.
Don't make him too sweet now. Don't make him too sweet.
No, you're right. And I don't
sweet.
want him to feel like he has to even take care of a woman. I want the whatever woman he decides to be with, I want that woman to have the same drive that he has. This is 2020. It's not no man taking care of a woman. And I don't want him to cheat, you know, because we have these conversations. He told me, he's like, I'm not gonna have a girlfriend until after college, because that's when I'll be.
How old is he?
He'll be 12.
Yeah, that sounds like some 12-year-old. Holler at me when he's 16 and he see that thing, that spillage.
I mean, maybe that won't be his girlfriend though. Maybe he'll just be dating, and I'll be absolutely fine with him just dating multiple women, but he still have respect and make sure these women know.
Yeah, that's one thing.
You are not my girlfriend. We are dating. Right. I will take you out. We might have a protected sex here and there, but that's it. Because this is the real. You know.
Right.
I want him to be able to experience and not have to sit down with one woman or give a woman high hopes. Because as women, we've been there, and as men, there are men.
You can't say as women, because we're on the line with somebody who, as a man, has been there.
You're right, but that's true. But also, he got married very young.
I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I got married younger than him.
That is very,
I was married at 22.
Ooh.
So that's a whole difference. It doesn't matter the age. It is what it is. When you say I do, you said it. You took on grown people responsibility.
Listen, age has a lot to do with it.
Oh, of course.
The reason why a lot of people do things is because they haven't experienced a lot in their life, and they're already now married, and now they want to experience everything that they haven't experienced.
Yeah. I mean, but I also do know a lot of people that got married at a young age and have never cheated, and it's been very successful. So we can't, like I always say, we can't use things as an excuse. I just feel that when we make a decision, we ought to respect it, and we ought to.
I feel like this. You need to know yourself.
That's what it is, right there.
You need to know what you want, and you just need to know you. There's nothing wrong with sowing your royal oats until maybe you're ready to 28 or whatever case may be.
I ain't saying I agree with sowing them everywhere now, but I get what you're saying.
Right.
All right, so boom. Let's move on to the next question. So, how has the infidelity kind of change your perspective on relationships, or has it, being the victim of infidelity and being one who has been unfaithful in the past? And I'll let D go first.
Yeah, so he's married, so I can't really speak on
Listen, I meant to clarify that earlier. At the end of the day, when you enter into a relationship with somebody, both of you guys made an agreement that you guys are exclusive to each other. All marriage is that now it is a legal bond. Okay. But at the end of the day, when I'm in a relationship with you, whether we're married or not, I want the same respect as if we were.
That's
so
true.
It doesn't matter whether we're talking married or we're talking relationship, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna respect you as if you're my wife, and you're gonna respect me as I'm your husband. And that's the problem now. We don't. We just say, oh, that's not my wife, that's not my husband, I can do what I want. That leads to a whole bunch of different problems.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that. So like with infidelity, when it comes to that, I feel like for me, it's giving me a lot of trust issues, a lot of insecurities. It doesn't matter like how many, my friends can tell me, you're beautiful, you got this, girl, you a winner. I want to hear it from that person though.
Do you just want to hear it, or you want to know it from them by their actions?
That too, not just hear it, because if you're not getting it from that one person that you have invested your full body in, your soul and everything, it's like, all right, my friend said it, you're right, but he still don't want me. Right. Like, and now I'm out here and I'm lonely and he's with whoever he want to be with, he's not with me. Like, what is wrong with me? Right. So moving forward for me, like, I have trust issues. However, I try not to implement that on whoever I'm dating with. I try. But I'm working on that still, and I try not to blame the other person for other things. And this goes into when we were also saying, like, a lot of people like to blame whatever happened in their past on other people, and I try not to do that either. So even when it comes to dating now, I still come back around wholeheartedly, and you know, I'm myself, but I also I'm vulnerable to love. I'm gonna say that I'm very vulnerable to love, and it's like I'm still open to it, but I still get upset. Like sometimes I still feel like I'm stupid for making certain decisions, but at the end of the day, I'm not in a relationship now, so I'm still taking it day by day because I still feel like I'm learning, because even though I've been cheated on and all of these things have gone wrong in my relationship, I still don't think I know. I'm just learning still. And you men, you guys are here to like enlighten me.
What I feel about that is that you keep using the word, you try to not inflict it on the new person you're dating, or you try to listen. Then if you have to try, then you don't need to be moving forward until you can actually, in my opinion, dealing with somebody till you actually can do it.
Right. Yeah, she needs to heal for herself first before she can.
Exactly.
Exactly. You're right. And it's so crazy.
And I know it can be lonely. Sometimes you want Netflix and have someone to chill with, but I mean, if that's the case, that's what you want to do. Then just keep it at that standard. I understand most women feel they're above that and they don't want to just Netflix until they want something more stable. But if you know you're not ready for that, then again, it goes back to knowing yourself and being honest with yourself.
You're absolutely right, which is why I'm in the situation that I'm in now. I'm just, because I say it as a social worker, and my friends come to me a lot because I'm like their like therapist, but I can't like use all these terms on myself. But when I talk to my friends, I let them know, like, you have to love yourself. I love myself. However, I have to be better for myself in order to jump into something and know, just like you said, I have to let things go and know certain things in order to be able to move forward.
I think one can love themselves and still be insecure about themselves, though.
That's true.
So I feel like in life, a lot of things happen where we're insecure about a lot of things due to things that have happened in life, but we still love ourselves. It's not like we don't like ourselves, but we're very insecure due to the experiences that we've been through. And a lot of people who never heal from that, or never come to self and learn themselves and actually heal from the past and become a whole person, then become what, and early in the conversation, we were talking about a man who was insecure, and he was so insecure in himself that he didn't allow or respect the relationship his lady had with her best friend. And that comes from somebody not being whole. And we have we have a lot of pieces of people in relationships. People are not whole.
Here's a good question. Where does insecurity come from? People don't realize that insecurity is something that others have inflicted on you to alter the way you view yourself or view your situation.
Correct.
Without giving a fuck what other people feel and what other people think, and when it comes to you.
Correct.
And
you know what I'm saying? And if you can master that, there's no such thing as insecurity. You can step outside with the whole pot belly with a 2-piece, Don't give no fucks what nobody think about you. Those women have the biggest confidence in the world because they don't give no fucks what nobody thinking about how they feel.
Right. That is me now. Okay?
And the problem is when you go into a relationship thinking and knowing yourself, you're gonna have there's no such thing as insecurity. If somebody fuck around and fuck up,
there's no.
Thank you.
It's their loss. And it's not till we get to that mindset that we would then learn and be actually really whole for somebody else, man. And I don't believe in that whole term, you're my other half. No, I don't believe in it. I believe that we need to be a whole person that meets another whole person, and then we can become a couple. I don't believe in that half.
I want to see where your math was at, because you said one whole plus the next whole. I was wondering where this mathematics was going.
No. We're not talking about two holes. We're not talking about those type of holes. We talking about whole as an individual. You know what I'm saying? But real talk, I just feel like we need to be whole individuals first.
Right.
And a lot of us get into a lot of premature things, not knowing ourselves and not being whole, and not really knowing how to love and understand ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I first got married, man, I didn't really know what I was really attracted to. I didn't know what turned me off. I didn't know anything about myself. So here I was trying to learn myself while trying to learn a whole other individual. Yeah. Like, that's an impossible task.
And that's pretty, for me, I think that even you got married at 22, so that's like that's like taking on a whole new responsibility without having a kid.
Right.
Right, but because instead of having a man helping him, teaching him,
but a man can't teach.
Learn himself.
It don't matter. Another man can't teach me what I like. Like we're not all the same. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna like it. Like even my biological dad and my stepfather. Like I'm different than both of them. You understand what I'm saying? One by blood and one by him raising me. Like, I'm different than both of them. I dislike total different things. I just feel like we need to come to understanding as a person to ourselves first. And granted, I know sometimes we want a relationship or we want a companion or whatever it may be. But sometimes, especially when we come from something that has hurt us, we need to take that time, like you told her, take that time now to kind of heal. Not kinda, but heal.
There's nothing wrong with being alone.
It's easier said than done.
No, because I know someone that doesn't want to be alone. I'm okay with being alone. Trust me, I was alone before.
I don't believe you.
No, listen, there's people in here that can vouch. I'm okay with being alone.
I don't believe you. I don't believe her. I met her today and I don't believe her. Listen, I feel like if somebody come in here, say the right thing at the right time in the right place, she open. Real talk.
Me?
Real talk. Not open sexually, but I mean like you open to the possibility.
Okay.
Because hence what you said with your previous relationship or your last relationship. You said that you didn't think that a man would ever treat you in that way, or that he esteemed you or treated you the way you thought you didn't even deserve to be treated. So he shocked you out of this world, and you were open now to the possibility of you and him being an item.
Well, yeah.
So if another man now comes into your life and beats him, there's no saying what you and won't do.
Yes, there is.
Silence speaks volumes. Silence sometimes speaks volumes.
Because at the same time, I feel like I've experienced a lot. X, Y, and Z could be nodding their head over there, but at the end of the day,
let me tell you something. If Alex was to pull up on you, girl, all right? But we're not talking about that right now. We're not talking about Alex versus Anthony. I'm just saying, but if Alex was to pull up on you right now,
no, because at the end of the day, I knew myself. When we broke up, I did not start dating until maybe like 8 months later.
Now, do you believe that you were completely over and healed from your previous relationship?
I am now.
So when you started dating, were you completely healed and over it?
I was completely over it. No, I'm not, because you said two different things. I was completely over
the situation, but you weren't healed.
I was not healed, and that I can say. I was completely over it, but I was not healed. Yes, I want my family, but I was the type of woman to feel like, I don't feel like, he said that, he wanted to work things out. He got his daughter. And even though he was trying to be with me and everything, I felt like, you know what, I gave you that second chance. I'm not giving you a third chance. We're not doing this no more, because you're not going to have me thinking, wondering what the hell is going on, or having me being insecure. It took a lot for me to build up to feel secure with myself. Right. It took me a little bit over 8 months to feel secure with myself. And I needed that in order to deal with anyone else. And once I felt secure and I knew I was over this, and I knew I'm not going back to this man or whatever, because he hasn't touched me since forever. So it's like, I was able to do those things, but I was still healing, because at the same time, I still battled with my little insecurities, and I was still trying to make sure that I'm perfect for whoever it is that I'm going to be with. Clearly,
you're never going to be perfect, but I get what you're saying.
And it took me some time to figure that out. It took me a long time to figure that I will never be perfect for someone. However, if I ever come across that person that is able to be transparent with me and let me know, like, listen, I care about you and all, but you need to work on this, or you need to do this. Like, talk to me, because a lot of times men think that your feelings are going to be hurt, but my feelings might be hurt a little bit, but don't try to protect my feelings for me to go out and still have my insecurities. Let me know what it is, because let me be able to work on that. If I can't work on that, and if me and you aren't able to be together, then let me work on that for the next person that may or may not come along, or even work on that for myself. Like, you know what, this person saw whatever faults I exhibited, so okay, let me work on that. And also, I'm a parent, I'm a mother, so I have a daughter and I have a son. So I need to know what I need to teach them too. I don't know everything. Nobody knows everything. But if you know something that I don't know, please teach me. I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to listen. And if it's not good for you, it might be good for someone else, but I'll be able to teach my kids that as well. And a lot of people need to understand that whenever they try to have a conversation with me on how I am as a woman to them. It's not just for you. I'm setting an example for two young kids right now too. So let me know. And I want to be able to be better for myself as well if this doesn't work.
So this is what I'm gonna leave you out with. Getting kind of late here. This is what I'm gonna say. The problem is with a lot of men too, is that with a lot of men now, is that they'll just say all the right things because of what they want now. They want you. You know what I'm saying? Now. And the problem is, what people have to realize, that you're never gonna get nothing perfect in terms of man and woman. People have to start looking at relationships in a way of, what is it that I can tolerate now? Because no one's going to be perfect. We already know this already. You have to understand, what is it that you can tolerate that the person, in terms of their imperfections. People talk about that 80-20 rule. You know what I'm saying? It's all about what out of that 20% you're willing to negotiate with.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the thing with the men nowadays, is that they're just telling you everything they want, because they're living for now. They're not looking that far ahead.
And that's what I
the
said
sex
earlier.
is good. The cooking is good. You know what I mean? You rub his traps every so often. I mean, everything is good. You know what I'm saying? But
it's not futuristic at all. The view on relationships are not futuristic at all.
You know what I'm saying? The thing is that you got to look at a guy and say, well, damn, this nigga, he leaves his underwear on the floor. He don't put the toilet seat down. He may say, damn, she don't cook red meat. You know what I mean? She leaves the toilet seat up. You know what I mean? Like, whatever, I like the green grapes. You like the red grapes. And at the end of the day, a lot of that shit is minute and is minor. And I've come to learn that in my own relationship, in my own marriage. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about what you're willing to negotiate and compromise. Keyword compromise. Because at the end of the day, like you said, we could talk to our first term blue in terms of relationship and marriages. It all comes out of manifest finance. It all comes down to communication. Number one, and compromise, man. That's it.
That's why I'm big on communication.
And I agree with you, man. And in closing, I just feel like, one, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on and giving us your time and just allowing and just being transparent with your experiences and everything that you guys been through. And for you and your marriage, man, I wish you 100 years more. You know what I'm saying? I wish
Oh,
you,
man, thank you.
I wish you guys the best. And
I think more than likely, I think these kids will kill me before she do. Tell you.
Well, that's a blessing. 17 years, that's a blessing, and it's a blessing for y'all to actually like be able to stick it out because you guys were learning still.
Facts. And for you, young lady, we wish that you find somebody who you can actually submit to.
Definitely.
But in all jokes aside, you know what I'm saying, man, being in a relationship and loving somebody is actually giving them the power to hurt you, pretty much. Mm-hmm. When you open up to an extent where you now love somebody, you're actually giving them the opportunity to be able to hurt you. And that's a very, 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 very tough thing to accept because not everybody can come back from the hurt. And being two individuals who have come back and experienced hurt and been cheated on, and in your case, Scott, been the person who has also cheated but still have found a way to work your relationship out is something that is very, very
trust me, bro. It was the problem is when you get hurt so many times is that it's the downside to that is you start to get hardened as an individual. Mm-hmm. Your heart starts to get hard. Right. You become hard as an individual. You know what I'm saying? You start not to give no fuck about anything.
Right.
And when you start to get like that, you start dealing with people a certain kind of way. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about people, females or males. You start dealing with them a certain kind of way. You don't give no fucks how they feel, how anybody feels. Because the thing is that it's a balance is that you don't want no one to take advantage of you. You know, you still want to love. You're going to get hurt, but it has to be a balance where if you get hurt, you can bounce back and still be compassionate and still be soft inside. Because the minute that motherfucker hurt me, fuck it, this is what's on to next. When you start getting like that, it's going to reflect into your other relationships, succeed or not, and you're going to start being real hard with them niggas, and niggas going to be like, nah, fuck that.
That other person does not deserve it. And that's one thing I always say. Don't judge me for the mistakes of somebody else.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? And it's really not fair to not just the other person.
It's not an easy balance, bro.
Right.
It's not an easy balance.
It's easier said than done. Correct.
That's why I never jumped into anything. Like because I knew that much. To not jump into anything and to not allow myself to be upset with someone else because of my past experiences. So I never jumped into anything, even though I was over it and I was still going through my healing process while dating. Like I'm good now, but I'm not gonna jump into anything where I still battle with my insecurities, but I'm not gonna just jump into anything and make that other person pay for what I'm going through because of somebody in my past. That has nothing to do with them. So I'm cool with life right now. I'm good. I'm happy, but I still gotta work on me. Right.
And my thing is, as we close, is people ask me all the time, like, yo, what do you consider cheating, man? Like, at the end of the day, cheating is anything you wouldn't do, say, or even think in front of your significant other. You know what I'm saying? Like, whether that be sexual, whether that be audibly, whether that be whatever. Like, if you can't do it in front of your significant other, I think that you should rethink doing it in general. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm glad that I'm glad you guys came on and joined me on this one. It's been a journey. I appreciate it. This is Alex versus Anthony podcast. Stay tuned to episode 3. Love y'all. Take care. Scott.
Love y'all too, man.
Yes, sir. Have a good one.
Follow me on IG.
He said follow him
Scotty
on IG.
Machado.
All right. You sure that ain't gonna get you in trouble, bro?
That's my professional page, Bobby. Yeah.
All right, y'all. You already know, man. Y'all be blessed.
Right.
Anthony versus Alex podcast. Have a good one.